Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Capers Business Ventures Connect podcast. We'd love for you to subscribe and looking forward to your reviews of our episodes. If you're interested in becoming a guest on our podcast, we'd love to have you. So please visit us at cbbservices.com/podcast, and we'll be in touch. We're glad you're here, and we're ready to get started. Ever wonder what it takes to put a podcast together? Well, you're in luck. I've got a good friend, and he and I are going to go behind the scenes. So let's connect. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to visit with me at the Capers Business Ventures Connect podcast. I'm your host, Mel Capers, and I'm delighted and excited to be here with you. Before we get going, let me just give pause and give thanks to my great Creator for allowing me just another opportunity to do His will on this side of heaven. I also want to take this time to thank my great friends, Tasha and Kevin White, who are co-founders of Vanguardian Global. They are really doing amazing things at Vanguardian Global, and you need to go check them out. So go to their website at vanguardianglobal.com. Also want to send a shout out to my great friend, Corliss Odwame. She is president of Agape Love in Action. It is a nonprofit organization that's doing great things for veterans, and you need to check them out. Listen, you also need to go to Agape Love in Action and check out their Veterans Calendar. Find out what's going on. Donate and order one of those Veterans Calendar. You can do so by going to agapeloveinaction.com. Also want to shout out a good friend. She is Sonia Pinckney Rhodes. She is founder and chief executive of J.M. Pinckney Publishing. She is doing incredible work, so you need to check her out as well. Please go to her website at jmpinkneypublishing.com. Well, I got to tell you, this episode is very special because I'm on with my good friend, Mario P. Fields. He is host of UNARMORED Talk, and I'm his guest, while he's my guest at the same time. It is surely an honor to have him here as a guest. He is Mario P. Field, the man, the myth, the legend, and it's time to meet him in our first segment we call the Meet and Greet segment. Here we are with my good friend. He's the best friend I ever got on this podcast, I got to tell you. My good friend, Mario P. Fields. Mario, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing amazing, and I think I'm your only friend tonight on this episode.
Yes, you are. So, I'm glad to have all my friends here on this episode right now. Hey, listen, I've been talking you up, and I've been saying so much about you, and so obviously you're that man from Wakanda. You are the one. Let my listening audience know a little bit about Mario P. Fields. Who is Mario P. Fields?
Well, if you want to know everything about the 5 foot 2.5 according to the VA standards, gentlemen on this show, you can actually put me in a search engine and learn a lot about me. But tonight, I'll just tell you guys what's relevant. Mario P. Fields did about 26 years in the Marines, and I'm currently now a podcast host and producer for Unarmored Talk podcast. And again, there's a lot of other things I'm doing, but you guys can take your time, put me in the search engine, go on LinkedIn, and gain a better understanding of what's going on in my world.
Okay, Mario, here we go. Let's record an episode on Unarmored Talk. Let's find out how will that go. And I'm your guest. Let's do that.
So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unarmored Talk podcast. I am your host, Mario P. Fields. And today's guest is Mel. You mind if I call you Mel, man? I've been calling you Mel for you. Mel Capers. He's got a wonderful podcast, Connect Podcast with Mel Capers.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mel, what's going on, man?
Man, you know what? Everything is going on because I'm in your presence, my friend. You know, come on now. That's Mario P. Fields. Think about it. If you're not in the presence of Mario P. Fields and you feel this big smile come on your face, something's wrong. Something's wrong. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, your smile, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on audio, you need to check out this video on YouTube because Mel's smile, I believe, is virtually just as big as mine. And also, congrats to my friend. He's a new grandpapa, right? Grandpapa.
You know what? Absolutely. That's why this smile is so big. I always tell people I'm always smiling. My lips are just in the way. But this time I'm moving my lips out of the way because I am a granddad for the first time. And there is no other feeling but being a grandparent. I'm telling you, this is just.
He's a granddad. What a blessing. Hey, tonight's special episode for you all today. I mean, we're recording at night, but it doesn't matter when you listen. You know, we just want to take you guys behind the scenes, unarmored. And we're just as two podcast hosts and producers and to give you guys some behind the scenes stuff. And hopefully if you're ever considering to start your own podcast or you're currently a podcast host or producer, hopefully you could take something away from this or go, hey, I'm not alone. They experience the same things too. So I'm going to start off with a lot of people don't know, but I study Oprah. I've watched Oprah. I love Oprah, and she's the only one on LinkedIn that I follow as an influencer. And my interview techniques, I just watch her. How about you, man? If you had to, who is the behind the scene that you learn your tips from?
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I was following people, there wasn't a Twitter, there wasn't a LinkedIn, there wasn't anything online, The only thing that was online during the time I was doing my thing is the line that was a part of the telephone I had to my head that was linked to the wall that you couldn't walk anywhere from the kitchen or wherever.
What was that, Mel? 1920, man? What was that?
1912, 13, somewhere around that time. Fred Flintstone was my neighbor.
Right.
But I'm telling you, honestly, when I grew up, I've got a very good friend. And he's the youngest. He is the youngest of 7, and he had 6 sisters. So he and I, same age, and we grew up together. And I kind of watched him closely when we were there. And I went in the military, and he went to college, and he got into broadcasting. He was a cameraman. He did a little bit of anchoring. He worked at different news stations, and he eventually became a news director. My friend, my childhood friend. And I will tell you, I just kind of envied him because I thought what he was doing was just so amazing. So I kind of had him in my heart and in my mind all my life. But when I went in the military, I used to be a DJ.
What was your name, man?
What was my name?
Come on, Unarmored.
I was just Mel C. Just Mel C spinning the music for you, just trying to make things right. I'm just saying, I wasn't with all the flash because back in the day, I wasn't like the number one DJ. I was the DJ that the DJs would call when they couldn't make it. So I wasn't that good.
You rest your freshman.
That's right. But I did the clubs when I was overseas quite a bit in the Air Force. I did a lot of the clubs on the days where, like I said, the primary DJs weren't there. And so I enjoyed it and played all kinds of music. Folks loved me, loved my voice. I tried not to talk more than I played the music, but it's just something I enjoy about the microphone. And then when the opportunity came to start a podcast, that happened for me in 2020 during the pandemic. Because I couldn't go out and make noise and couldn't talk to people and socialize. And I said, I got to talk to somebody. And I said, well, why don't I start this thing called a podcast? So I figured it was just about getting a microphone and a recorder, and that was it. That wasn't it.
Right?
That wasn't it. Oh my
God. You know it, and I, you know, the thing is, I would say, man, to ask these questions, it looks easy. And to get people to come on your show, to open up. I was like, look, I could do that. I could just go, hey, Mel, hey, you mind coming on and talking to me about that major event that occurred? And you would be like, heck yeah, Mario. Yeah, I'm all in. But that's not the case.
That's right. That's right. The one thing I learned is when you are podcasting, you have to, first of all, your guest is your guest, but every guest has got to be a friend.
Yeah.
And you've got to talk to your guest as if, you know, we go way back, but you may know nothing about your guest, so to speak. But you don't want to let them feel that way, and you want to have a conversation with them. Because as you have in some of your podcast episodes, you learn things at the moment that you're speaking to your guest, and it blows you away.
And you're right. You're right. I mean, you know, I like how you said too, getting to know the guests. I mean, I've been on, like, you've been on a lot of podcasts. I've listened and seen a lot of podcasts, but what separates them is listening to the conversation between that guest and that host, and the cadence, the flow, seeing if they're connected, or is the host just, you know, trying to get another episode out the door. And yeah, and I agree. Have you ever had to have you ever had to stop an episode and completely start over?
So let me tell you why I had to do that. And this is a mistake many podcasters will make. And so I want everybody who's listening to write this down. Don't make this mistake. Don't forget to hit the record button.
Oh, no. Hey, man, don't tell me that you did a whole episode and you did not hit record.
Entire episode, wonderful conversation. I couldn't believe some of the things I was hearing. And I thanked my guests for taking the time. Oh my God, this is great, 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 great. Have a wonderful day until the next time. We'll see you. Hung up. Okay, let's play that back. Oh! I didn't hit record.
What'd you say?
Well, let me just put it this way. When I started that episode, I had an afro.
What you said, by midnight, it all went UA. It went off, right. For all you non-military, right? It went unauthorized absence from his scalp.
That's right. It was gone. I could not believe I didn't hit record.
My God!
Not paying attention. Didn't hit record. So if you're starting your podcast, if you're doing your podcast, the one thing you want to remember, got me crying because I'm laughing so hard. Please find that record button, and even before you start talking, hit the record button. That way you know you're recording, and you can always edit that out. But yeah, I had to actually start all over again, and that's the only reason I had to start all over. I called my guests back and asked her, would you please just give me, I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you can just give me a few questions answered. And she did, and she was very kind. And I never told her I didn't hit the record button.
Yeah, well, I was just sharing with you, one of my most recent, what the heck, is when you compile, if you do video and you compile your file, right? You put everything, you do your edits and everything, you put everything together, video. Watch the entire video, because this most recent episode, which the world does not know, but if they listen to this one, they're going to know the most recent episode I just released. That was Dr. Robin Odegaard, and her dad married, pretty much picked her husband, and said, "This is who you're gonna marry." But when that thing was premiering live, that episode was premiering live, it cut off at 15 minutes. Yeah, it did. And I had an afro too.
That's right.
Well, and I have some loyal, James, Jim out there. Hopefully you're listening, watching, James, and we go by Jim. Love you, man. Always leaving me scripture. Tom, a couple of and then Tom Muse, you guys are awesome.
Hey, and listen, we got to get ready to get into our next segment. You ready to get into our next segment, which we call On the Horizon? You ready to get into our next segment?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So here we are, my friend. What do you have on the horizon? What's coming up for Mario?
Yeah, you know what? The big thing that's coming up and that's currently going for me right now is I'm on the Parade Deck. Go to paradedeck.com. It is a one-stop shop. You can follow me on all my social media with one click. It's something new. And I've collaborated with the CEO and owner of the Parade Deck. And Monday morning shows with Mario and Nicole. So that's the hottest thing we got going on right now. It's doing well. We're on we're on six episodes, season 1, and we're having some fun, man. So again, paradedeck.com, check it out. Now, let's talk about an emotion. Let's pick an emotion that, as a podcaster, someone again who's a podcaster have to deal with. For me, one of the emotions I had to deal with is getting comfortable with staring at the camera and interviewing, looking at the camera and not looking at myself or the guest. And that took some time. I wasn't comfortable. I'm like, this is weird. I think it took me about 10 episodes to get used to it.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. And, a lot of people are more comfortable with just the audio podcast because you don't have to go through that awkwardness of looking at a camera that you can't see anything except the camera lens. And so many people are comfortable with just doing the audio part. But you're right. I enjoy doing the video as well. I like to dress up for the video. I got to tell you how I'm dressed up too, by the way, as a podcaster. This is part of my shtick. I always wear my collarless shirt. I remember doing an event one time. I was hosting an event one time, and people would say, "Are you a pastor? Are you a minister or something?" I said, "Oh, no." So I had to come on with the microphone again and said, somebody asked me if I was a pastor, and I said, "No, not me, not from my past." I said, the only reason why I wear this collarless shirt is because it helps me to remember not to say anything bad or curse.
Hey, would you say, Mel, I'm a pass, so let's get rid of the stir.
That's right.
I got a pass.
I got a pass. That's why I can't be a pastor.
Oh man.
But you're right. It's not easy at times, but you gotta do what we're doing right now. I mean, that's got to be the bottom line. You and your guests have to have an enjoyable time on your podcast, because this is what it's all about. Talking to people is exchanging stories. And I got to tell you this before we run out of time. I always tell all my guests that I always ask them, I said, when are you going to write your book? Where's your book coming out? And some of them will say, well, a book? I'm not going to write a book. I don't have a book. And I said, well, you should, because everyone has a story. And we shouldn't hear about your story when we're reading your obituary.
Absolutely, man.
Write yourself your own story while you're here and enjoy it. And so those are some of the things that I do on my podcast. One thing I do find myself, as I'm doing now, and I talk too much, and I have to be quiet and let my guests do some talking and allow them to tell their stories so I won't get in the way. But sometimes they want to hear me, and sometimes they want to hear my experiences. And like I said, it's like a conversation you're having with your best friend, as we are today, Mario.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And like you said, being self-aware, and I like what you said, Mel. I mean, you gotta have fun. There's a lot of effort and work behind the scenes. You started, you get your first 2 episodes, you got 1 download.
That's right.
You're going.
And one of those downloads is you.
It's yours.
That's right.
Right? You all excited because you went on your own Apple and Google and Spotify and you downloaded your own episode and you're like, man, we got to download, baby. We got to download.
Yes.
Oh, snap. That's me.
That's me. That's what happened.
Oh man. But like you said, you got to have fun, and it is fun. And look, I met you, you meet great people, and you look back. The last thing I would like to talk about, and I know for me, and I share this, with the podcasters, is I don't know if you had this problem, but when I first started, you look at some of my first episodes, I used to always believe to be an official podcaster, you got to look like one. So I had the mic. I had that big old screen in my face. That's, you got to, go back and look at some of my first episodes. No, yours is good. No, if y'all watching, man, Mel's taking off his professional equipment. No, I'm serious. But seriously, man, I had it in front of me, like, so the world can see it. And if you look at, again, go back and look at some of my videos. And then I realized, and I got a call from somebody, and they said, one of my boys, his name is Jerry Washington. He said, Mario, you have an amazing smile. He goes, but I can't see it.
That's right. It's behind the windscreen. You can't see your face. That's right.
He said,
my gosh.
Feedback is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. He said, I can't see it because all I see is the screen. And anyway, so what's your thoughts? I thought you had to look like one, but now year 2 it's whatever fits your genre, whatever. But you don't have to look like somebody else. Just be you. What you think, man? As you took off your stuff.
Yeah, because you were stepping on my toe and I got But no, Mario, I learned to be comfortable, and I learned that life is too short for us to be stressing out about everything. And when I do podcasts, I'm enjoying myself. And I tell my guests, even if I met them for the first time on the day that they signed in, I said, I guarantee you that you're going to have a good time. I guarantee you're going to smile. So I guess what I'm getting at is I try not to look the part, because no matter what I do to my face, I'm still going to look the same. And people are going to say, oh, some people call me the elephant man. I am not an animal. But what I'm saying is you got to have fun. You got to laugh. You got to feel good. Because, when you laugh inside, it just feels so good to be alive. And so what I want to do is feel good on my podcast episodes. We can talk about some serious things, but I want my guests and I to have fun. I want to laugh about it. And then when we're done, I want my guests to never forget that they came on the Capers Business Ventures Connect podcast with Mel Capers, because they had a great time. And I want them to walk away feeling good about being, for me taking their time up. I want them to walk away feeling real good about it. And so that's my feeling. And the tough part about a podcast is when it's all over, you check to make sure you did hit that record button, you turn it off, and then you start wrapping everything up. So I'm probably not more concerned about how I look as a podcaster as how I feel, because I I want the time to be enjoyable for everyone I talk to. And I want you to smile. Like I said, hey, I'm always smiling. My lips are just in the way, you know?
Hey, man, you got me. It's going to be hard for me to go to bed tonight, man. But hey, I truly appreciate you coming on Unarmored Talk podcast to do this kind of special episode, uncut, kind of behind the scenes, something I thought about, and I'm thankful, and I thank God, and I'm very gracious for you to accept my invite. And again, congratulations on becoming a new granddad. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have those special buttons again, so I do the regular clap, right? Where we don't have enough funding yet.
Thank you, my friend. Hey, listen, we got to get ready to get into our final segment. We call it the Connect segment. You ready to get into Connect?
You know I'm always ready.
Let's do that. So, my friend, how do people get in touch with you? How do they connect with you? I need your fingerprint, your credit card number, your driver's license, or just whatever you want to give me.
Hey, they can connect with me one click on the parade deck, man. ParadeDeck.com, Mario P. Fields. Go on to ParadeDeck.com. You look for Sergeant Major Retired Mario P. Fields as a content creator, and everything's there. Instagram, LinkedIn, podcast, YouTube. One click gets you all of me.
I love doing podcasts because I love meeting people like yourself, Mario. I love being in the same circle that you're in. Actually, I love being in the same circle with Jim. You know, the guy who is your diehard follower. I like being in the circle with him because I know he's going to hear me tonight. And some of your other followers. I love every one of you. So it's about having a good time and being thankful that God has given you another day to do his will. And we should do it and have a good time doing it. There you go. There you go.
No worries. Well, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. Until next time, we'll see you later. Nice, man. So that was
Recording
nice.
Stopped.
There you have it, my good friend. I got to tell you, my friend, before we get out of here, I have taken down John Kennedy. I've taken down Martin Luther King Jr., and I've taken down Barack Obama's picture off of my wall. And guess whose picture I got up there?
Mel Capers.
Yes, I do. My grandson. Thank you so much for being my guest, my friend, and I will see you the next time, my friend.
Thank you so much, my friend. Be safe.
We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, Capers Business Ventures Connect. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So please like, share, subscribe, and leave a review. You can also find us on social media. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn at Capers Business Ventures. And on Instagram and Twitter, you can find us at CBV Services. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.